Hey YouTube, it is League Turnover again, and the only good news about having a something for the second week in a row is at least it's Great League Remix. So it is Great League Remix and Ultra League this week. So we're gonna go over some top teams for myself, Home Slice, and Yonkis that from the Great League Remix this past week that was on. I'm just gonna quickly look at the rankings because it's very not funny, but what the rankings are versus what you're actually seeing is pretty different, and not pretty different. But you kind of almost skip number one almost completely and start at number two because the reason you have that problem is Corsola as a ghost is going to have problems with dark and it's going to have problems with normal typings because normal will double resist and dark will double resist. You take super effects from dark. So you go down to number 5, Pangoro, dark. You go into 7, Diggersby, normal. Go down to Guzzlord, 8, dark. You go down to, I was wondering where Ferret is on this list. 12, Ferret, normal typing. So you have a lot of Pokemon that just absolutely beat you, and a lot of these other Pokemon are just in like neutral situations, right? You have Ghost mirror matches here. You have, I mean, Primate's not a good matchup, but it has Rage Fist. Even Grumpig, it's a terrible matchup for Grumpig because it's Psychic, but it has Shadow Ball. You got Jelson here. So there's a lot of Pokemon that can kind of deal with these tops. So you're not seeing Corsola a lot. Dusknoir gets by because it has that dynamic punch, right? And having that dynamic punch to hit super effective against the darks and against the normal typing gives you more coverage. So you're going to see a decent amount of Dusknoir on these teams. I think maybe one Corsola from, I think, Home Slice. But for the most part, the main ghosts you're going to see are Dusknoir and I'd say Jelson to hit super effective on the Diggersby with the Surf. Otherwise, there is a healthy dose of Grumpig, Pangoro, Diggersby, Jellicent, Ferret, Tinkatong. So that is pretty accurate. Thievul up at number 19. Same thing as the Dark. I saw a bunch of these Thievul's double Sucker Punch users. You had like Ferret, Safe Swap, and then this Thievul in the back. I saw that a couple times. And outside of that, you're not seeing, like, I mean, there's Toxapex and stuff, so you're seeing probably a few of those. Sandslash, I saw a couple. But for the most part, it is a pretty condensed meta in the top here. Like, I pretty much see Pangoro or Diggersby or a Ghost on every single team. So don't be surprised when you look at these teams and see a lot of those as well. And if you're playing, you're going to probably see a lot. That's just the way this meta is. So here's 2 of the 3. It's one of my, no, it's a team I showcased, but it was a Toxapex, Pangoro, Diggersby. Pangoro, obviously, as a fighter dark, going to be double weak to your fairies. So Toxapex will deal with that. And then Toxapex, yes, weak to ground, but also you need to watch your ghost weakness, which is why sort of Diggersby and Pangoro are answers to your ghost weakness. Diggersby will be your safe swap. It is a very strong Pokemon. Even if you get matched up against like certain things that beat you, like water Pokemon, you can spam with the quick attack and scorching sand, so it's pretty strong there. This was one of my teams. I used Golurk, Ferret, Toxapex, and it was, Ferret is strong in this meta, right? There's a couple things like your Pangoro and your Primates that beat it, but you're only weak to fighting. And the Sucker Punch, Swift, Trailblaze really kind of adds up quickly. So if you're weak to fighting, that's kind of where Toxapex comes in. And then I'm like, okay, you got kind of 2 decently bulky Pokemon in the back. Let's put some fast move damage on the front, or at least a Pokemon that's more like glass cannon-y. And I went with Shadow Golurk. I built one up. Not the best IVs, but, it was kind of fun to use, especially when your main Mudslap users like Marowak are banned. So I kind of treated it like a Shadow Marowak where the goal was basically try to 2-shield everything. It doesn't work as well because Marowak actually has a little bit of bulk to it that it can take it to the 2-shield, while Golurk is like very glassy. So oftentimes you can't even bring it to the 2-shield because you're just like done before that. But kind of fun Pokemon to use. This one is a team that I used because it was a variation of a team I used in the Open Great League that I had good success with. So I tried to just recreate that here. And the team I used in the Open Great League was Drapion, Shadow Drapion, Shadow Marowak, and Talonflame. So I'm like, okay, let's just replace everything there. So I'm like, okay, what's the best replacement for Talonflame? In this meta, it's Typhlosion. I'm like, okay, that's great. What's the best replacement for ground? I'm like, I don't have I don't want to go Lurk because that's too glassy. Let's go. I could go Diggersby, but I decided to go Quagsire for some coverage. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little glassy. And to replace Drapion with another poison, I'd be double weak to ground. So I had to put in a Moongus to neutralize that ground weakness. And I did pretty well with the team. I think I went like 9-2 or something like that. So you got some spam with the Aqua Tails and the Blast Burns and Thunder Punches. A strong move in Astonish for all the ghosts. Some grass moves for some water and ground Pokemon like Diggersby. So it's got some overall play here. And now let's go to a couple from Home Slice. And yeah, right off the bat, I think 2 of the 3 are the same as my first team this time. So you have Pangoro, you got your Diggersby as sort of a strong safe swap, and then you have your Dusk Noir. And like I said, Dusk Noir probably has more play than Dusclops and more play than Corsola because of the fact that it has Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch will be able to hit super effective against, as you can see, this whole team here, and other normal type and dark type Pokemon. So like that gives Dusk Noir a little more advantage. This is also like kind of like a 2 glassy Pokemon, 1 bulky Pokemon in Diggersby. So I imagine that you're kind of double shielding your way through these glassy Pokemon and let Diggersby just kind of act as a sponge / safe swap here. You notice that Pangoro's on a lot of teams. It just makes sense, right? You have it's the best answer to the normal typings, and it's one of the best answers to the ghost typings, and there's a Psycho typing in like Grumpig. So it just makes sense that this is an absolute core breaker. If you watch my Great League Teams remix from last week, I say that right immediately before this cup even started. I said Pangoro is going to be the ultimate glass breaker. Wow. Core breaker. It's a glass cannon. Core breaker for this meta because of the reasons I just mentioned. All the ghosts, all the normal typings, all the psychic typings. So it makes sense it's a core breaker, and it makes sense that you see it on every single team. I'll tell but one thing I'll just say right now, because it's not in any of these teams, because actually that's not true, because I did see Yonkers run a double charm team. There are a lot of double charm teams out there, or at least a double fairy. I have definitely seen the double A9 Tails and Darkspun charm team. I've also seen the Darkspun and Clefable double fairy team, or Togetic as well. So you need to be aware that double fairies are out there, and for the most part they're out there because of Pangoro. So just be aware if you're going to run that. But Pangoro here is running with Corsola. Again, Corsola has play. I just think that the other ghosts probably have a little more play, but it does have play. It's bulky, and you need some bulk here. And then Psywave user Grumpig looks so tiny, but Grumpig looks in like your safe swap here. Just because you have that Dynamic Punch and Shadow Ball is great coverage, and Psywave is great too. There's not a ton of steals. I'm starting to try to bring out more steals in like a team you're going to see this week, because I think that outside of Pangoro, like I think steals are going to have a lot of play to a certain extent, because you got your Psywave users, you have your fairies that are showing up everywhere. So I think there is a place to steal, but I just need to try and figure out which one to use. Try Corviknight for like the 4th time. I still hate it. I don't know why I keep going back to it. It's truly like the definition of insanity. Keep doing something thinking it's going to change your outcome, but I still hate it. So there's your Darkspun. It is probably, again, if you just need a Wiggly replacement, it is a really good Wiggly replacement. But obviously it is, I almost like the play rough on this, because having Psychic Fangs and like a Body Slam just does not provide you much fast move pressure. Charge move pressure. So I actually like running the play rough on this, even though it's going to take a while to get to on this Pokemon. And Charge Bug, I do like this as well. Using Crunch as a safe swap, so I'm guessing you're trying to draw out a Fire or something with or a Ground maybe. Not really Ground, but yeah. Charge Bug is Morpeko's banned. I'm trying to think if there's any other electric banned, but Morpeko's banned. But so are a lot of the water. So electric doesn't have as much play in this meta, but I do think that it is a very, very strong, safe overall Pokemon that you can just, it's got bulk. I always have a special place for it because of how well it helped me do in the Toronto Regionals a couple of years ago. And we've seen 2 out of 3, a Marowak. Again, should not be surprising. You've got your Fire Spin. If you do see some steals, like I said, steals may have some play, but if you see some steals, and then you got your Shadow Bone for your other ghosts, and then you are Ghost yourself, so you resist normal typing moves, and then the spam with the Fire Spin Bone Club. Obviously, Dark is going to be a little bit of an issue, so that's where you have Pangoro, and then, going to be double weak to Dark in the back here. Pangoro will deal with that, and you have Dynamic Punch here, so you can kind of combo it. Anyways, so that's the Great League remix. I'll definitely do Ultra League teams, even though I haven't done that in weeks. Like, Ultra League has been around like 3 or 4 times this season. I think I've covered it once. Again, it's just the way that it is, unfortunately. So we'll mostly do Great League remix this week, but not tomorrow. I mean, yeah, maybe tomorrow afternoon because I put out 2 videos. But tomorrow morning, finally here, the interview with Poke Daxi. So check that out tomorrow morning. It's an hour and a half episode. I timestamp things if you only care about certain things, but it's like an hour and 10 minutes of interview, hour 5 minutes interview, hour 10, and then I give Daxi some GBL challenges for the last 15 minutes. And timestamps are in that video if you want to check it out. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.